Thank you, Levin. Cannot from Allah. Tudo bem, não dia já. Mas é 11 15 no dia. Agora não passa na. Yes, não passa na. Né? Lá já na ali. Ou se तो इधर ना प्रोग्राम नहीं देखे लोगों को ना कहीं हमारे खान जो डाला जहाँ तो आना turn by turn एक बुरी होता है ना लोटा लोग ही पावर जैसे तो ना कभी स्प्रे कॉन्टैक्ट करो तो इधर तो आज तो मोहन की करने जामा प्रोजेक्ट बोले तो World Soil Day ऐसे तो पीछे तो formally welcome address और team speaker Amihala DSCO.W Elizabeth Kin Hundar Go. I want to welcome each and every one of you to this gathering. First of all, we Amihala guest speaker for this program ase. Tayo sumno every agriculture officer ase. Aro tayo de ahado leader no kitan tayo agriculture officer Wokha ase. So amikan program start na kura gede first though. See, to member keep on by a invocation to Pratna Gridele Town.
Emokan Zanelli, Ekamevamo, Hapopozo, and a month of the government in Nipeka, and you know, Lematsana, World Soil Day, Deligi Manyanchita, in some Sunday, Dayavana, Filoshi, Soil Department, in Solido How people, when I think some home says to aim, Hayana, Yuda, Sangaroki, and Dotumon Soil Day, Doji. Duina kudili chichosana o jamji mangyamang sita tinsung esanaro sungri kita woka. Ochoya cha soka pinga vancho sana chi pono solido hoki pozo soka pinga chom home etom hai kero to hani chon chara nanaka ochoya chao pipozo. Kenang home ezu sana ejerinum home piu sana ho jang solido hoki pozo. Nilan so jamji kibina kebo to kero to hani chon chara nanaka. Engayo tsaka bono pipozo shi sa sanre banaka ezo bonam sikin so program chiki shaiki make the hotel also one of seeking so cabo to piloto without an conjunct to na coach in India she saw me on a channel.
And I'm also a new vehicle. Also, can you go on also, welcome address to team speaker to you down beaten. A presentation low lemon say. So, a prime. Oh, that really come from. Please stand up once. It will more like as the token of our appreciation and love of the DSA. Video will come address our team speakers outside. Sure.
Salam Pensi Jambuana, and I'm Changshilo Pandio Jijo, Eloncho in Samtona, Osi at the World Soil Day in Domjulona, Samtona Panchuba. Tokatolea and I Hinshana Motan, then me or you Mutana Zumana, Puchijon Dola Dona. And over Kunjo, Eddie Jungina, and Shamdo Elomchua, Tokatola, Nali Johanchmo Boizele, Eddie Yolo Hajibo Boyavana, Puchito Chizona, and I did Jungi and Shana Tona, Edena, Umbo Sin Kaladola and Chimboka. Chisokoda Hoton to the Buzona, Nchuana, Ede Jungina make Tokatola, Etzina, Shana, Pua, and Awadagoji, and the Jampana, Montova. A very good morning to you all, respected DSCO, respected STO, respected guest speaker, Srimati Eri, Agriculture Officer, and her colleague, as well as our esteemed members and staff of DSCO Office Wokha. As the world celebrates World Soil Day, I would like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome you to celebrate this auspicious event of World Soil Day under the theme Healthy Soils for Healthy Cities. I would also like to take this time to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our ma'am, special guest speaker, Srimati Eri, for making time to attend this event with us today. Ma'am, indeed, we are very grateful to have you here in our midst, and we look forward to learning and getting new insights from you. And I, on behalf of all of our department, would like to warmly welcome you to celebrate this event with us today. Thank you. Before I proceed further, I would also like to thank our ma'am DSCO for giving me the opportunity to speak on today's theme, that is healthy soils for healthy cities. Ito to na nga solo ng presentation. Okay, alright.
Abi ni de vida lo. Rumben heda. Ya. Ibi eda sa.
是这个意思。
The PPT, World Soil Day, 5th December 2025. The theme is Healthy Soils for Healthy Cities. Okay, so coming to the first slide, why healthy soils equal healthy cities? Or why is it imperative that in order to have healthy cities, we have to first have healthy soils? The first reason is healthy soils, it helps us to regulate floods, and also it helps us to have an access to clean groundwater. So healthy soils, it helps us to have an access to clean groundwater. I will explain this from this diagram. If you can kindly have a look at this diagram. So for a normal healthy soil sample, the soil is mostly made up of air, water, organic matter, and minerals. So 45% of the soil is made up of mineral matter, 25% by air, 25% by water, and around 5 to 6% is made up of organic matter in ideal conditions. So if we were to take a soil sample in a beaker, and if we were to look at it microscopically, then between these soil particles, that is these yellow spheres, we have a space for water, or if it is not filled by water, then it is filled by air. So what happens is when we have these healthy soils, and if there is a barrier, like for example, let's say plastics, be it macroplastics or microplastics. So if there is a barrier to this soil structure, then when there is rainfall, the water will not percolate down deeper into the layers of the soil. That is why this will block our access to clean groundwater, and our reservoir of clean groundwater will also get depleted. First reason is this, and second thing, it helps us to regulate floods. Okay, but before I come to the regulation of floods, this clean groundwater, it directly supports SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 6, that is, if you can see here, SDG 6, that is clean water and sanitation. Okay, now coming back to how healthy soils helps us to regulate floods. I'll have a look at the next slide, but let's look at this. As we already see that the soil is made up of mineral, air, and water, and when we see the organic matter just makes up around 5 to 6%, but we should not underestimate organic matter, because as you can see from the previous slide here, we can see that healthy soils with a high organic matter content can store large amounts of water, and even though it is smaller in quantity as compared to the other components, this organic matter helps us to retain about 20 times of its weight in water. That is why when there is excessive rainfall, and if there is a good quantity of organic matter present on the topsoil, then this organic matter will act as a reservoir. It will act as a tank wherein it will take up all the excess rainwater, and the water will not be washed off, and it will not cause flash floods or any kinds of floods. Coming back to the next slide, healthy soils also, it helps us to filter pollution. So in one of the major problems in today's world is pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, different kinds of pollutions we see in and around us, and we need to bring up strategies to deal with this kind of pollution, not just for us, but also for the coming generations. So how does healthy soils help us filter pollution? As we already know that if any type of soil is healthy, then obviously there's going to be more trees, more vegetation, more green spaces, and more green belts. So these trees that are planted will soak up all the toxic pollutants which is being emitted from our day-to-day activities, example like industries or even from our car emissions. So these are all sources of pollutants, and the trees, they will soak up all the toxic pollutants. And next point, it also helps us, healthy soil supports trees, and thus it helps us combat global warming. So if you can kindly see in this presentation, here we see that green belts or green trees are being planted around those industries that emit a lot of pollution, and these industries, the main contributor of pollution is CO2, and carbon dioxide is one of the major greenhouse gases, accounting for around 70 to 72% of the greenhouse gases. So the main contributor to global warming is CO2. So when we plant trees or when we plant vegetation in and around these industries, what they do is the leaves of these trees will take up the carbon dioxide, thus making sure that they store the carbon within the leaves of the trees, and this process is called as carbon sequestration. And this thing also, it directly supports SDG goals of 11, 13, and 15, that is SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 13 climate action, and SDG 15 life on land. Moving on, healthy soils, it also helps us to have a good livelihood, and it also helps us in elimination of poverty, because healthy soils will automatically equal healthy food systems, which will help us in improvement of livelihood. So this also supports SDG goals 1, 2, and 3, that is no poverty, zero hunger, good health, and well-being. Now, since we have already discussed the advantages of good soil, let us see what types of challenges we face in our today's world to achieve healthy soils. The first challenge is plastic pollution. If we see everywhere around us, we see that plastics are lying rampant just like that, and single-use plastics, we take it and we use it once and we just throw it away, and we think that the plastics that we take, it will have no impact on us, but it is a full circle. The thing that we're doing, it is definitely going to affect us, which I will explain in the next slide. But the effects of plastic pollution: microplastics break and mix with soil. It blocks aeration and water retention. This I have already explained in the first slide. And let's come back to this next point: biomagnification. These plastics, once they enter into our system, they break down into microplastics, and these microplastics is taken up by the plants, and then these plants will be taken up ultimately by us humans. It will pass through the food chain, and this process of the toxic pollutants or any kinds of chemicals or either plastics moving from the food chain to us humans, top predators, is called as biomagnification. I will explain this further in the next slide. So if you can see here, we humans are the top predator. We are the we're occupying the top position in the food chain, right? So below this plant, we know that there's soil, right? So when there is a soil, and if the soil is already contaminated by microplastics, the roots of this plant will take up the microplastics, and we will directly consume these plants either through fruits or vegetables, or it also enters our human bodies through beverages or processed food. So ultimately, the plastic that we throw, we think that it will not affect us, but the plastic that we throw, it ends up on us, and we are the top predators. So we are the ones most negatively affected by this biomagnification or this toxic pollutants. Second point, challenges to healthy soils: use of pesticides and chemicals. It's not just pesticides, it could be weedicides, insecticides, fungicides, rodenticides, or different kinds of chemicals. So we use this to get rid of insects. Like we think that, oh, once I spray it and the pests are gone, then it's fine. But we do not know the reaction that is taking place in the soil. The pesticides itself, they are made up of chemicals, and once it comes into open contact with the air, the soil, the water, different kinds of reactions are taking place. We do not see it with our naked eye, but if we are to look at it microscopically, different kinds of reactions are taking place, and it leaches out different kinds of toxic, more dangerous and more potent chemicals are being released into the soil, and these chemicals will again further spread through the soil, through the water, and also through the food system. So pesticides are very persistent. They stay in the soil for years, and even if we spray it now, we will not see the immediate effect, but it will be seen after 10, 20, or even 30 years. But we should make a point that the use of pesticides will definitely have a negative impact on us and on the future generation. So let's go to this next slide. This is text taken out from one of my favorite books. It's Silent Spring, written by Rachel Carson. So I will just read through this. Elixirs of death. For the first time in the history of the world, every human being is now subjected to contact with dangerous chemicals. From the moment of conception until death, in less than 2 decades of their use, the synthetic pesticides have been so thoroughly distributed throughout the animate and inanimate world that they occur virtually everywhere. They have been recovered from most of the major river systems and even from streams of groundwater flowing unseen through the earth. Residues of these chemicals linger in soil to which they have been applied dozens of years before. Let's have a look at this. Residues of these chemicals linger in soil to which they have been applied a dozen years before. So as I explained in the previous slide, they are very persistent. They stay in the soil for years and no immediate effect is seen. This has been directly explained through this line. Moving on, they have entered and lodged in the bodies of fish, birds, reptiles, and domestic and wild animals so universally that scientists carrying on animal experiments find it almost impossible to locate subjects free from such contamination. They have been found in fish in remote mountain lakes, in earthworms burrowing in soil, in the eggs of birds, and in man himself. For these chemicals are now stored in the bodies of the vast majority of human beings, regardless of age. They occur in mother's milk and probably in the tissues of an unborn child. So, as I explained here, let me come back to the biomagnification slide. The trophic level, it's not just microplastics, but it is pesticides, chemicals, and all the toxic chemicals. It has been spread through the soil. It is already there in the soil. So these toxic chemicals will once again enter the plant, and it will enter the fruits, and it will definitely enter the humans. Or it could be either in the form of algae, and then algae will pass on to the seafoods and the fish that we consume. Even that contains different kinds of microplastics, chemicals, and toxic pollutants. So this is a very dangerous thing, and I think we really need to address this issue. Okay, now another thing is challenges to healthy soils. In the context of Nagaland, we practice shroom cultivation and deforestation, and I am not against shroom cultivation or anything, but I think we need to bring up modern technologies where shroom cultivation and this scientific technologies will go hand in hand. So how does where we see in the news there's flash floods. Why? It's because of deforestation. When there are no trees and when there is no organic matter, then definitely, as I explained in the previous slides, organic matter is able to hold up about 20 times of its weight in water. So when there is organic matter present, definitely it will directly help us deal with floods, and it will directly help us regulate floods. Moving on, way forward, as I've already explained, the challenges and what healthy soils can do for our cities or our communities. Now let's look forward. What can we do? What strategies should we adopt moving forward? So first of all, we have to sensitize. A lot of sensitization programs have been carried out in schools, villages, communities, or colonies, and I'm sure our department is also doing that, and I'm thankful to our department for taking such initiative. However, I think that there is a change in strategy that we need to adopt when giving sensitization or awareness programs. Why? I think the first strategy that we should adopt is involvement of churches. As Nagaland being a Christian-dominated state, our local churches, they have a lot of say in a lot of local matters. So if we are able to tap into this, and if we're able to use the church as a medium wherein we can convey the information, or wherein we can relay the information, then I think it's a very good step. And another thing is women-centered or women participation. I'm not saying that women are not participating in awareness programs, but in most of the cases, we see that the participation of women is very less. And one thing we should keep in mind is that the real education of our children, it does not start in schools, or it does not start from our teachers, but it starts from our very own home, our very own kitchen. So if we empower our women, if we empower our mothers, and if we give them the right information, then definitely the mother will pass on this information to our children, and our children will be better equipped to face the challenges of our modern world. Second thing is adopt sustainable practices like not using single-use plastics, and adoption of integrated waste management. And also the third is like we can adopt agroforestry systems. So different kinds of agroforestry systems are there. Either it's agri-silviculture, where we grow agri crops and tree crops together. Silvipastoral means like either trees, or we can rear different kinds of animals on the same patch of land. Or agri-silvipastoral, wherein we grow the agri crops, the tree crops, as well as the animals together. This type of systems we can adopt. And even soil technology, that is sloping agriculture, soil technology mostly, which is being used in hilly areas. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DSCO, for your elaborate and detailed presentation. I'm sure all of us have been enlightened by it, and let us be doers in conserving this healthy soil. Now, next, I would like to give the time to our guest speaker to tell us about the highlights of natural farming. Thank you.
우리 오금차 미가쇼 중 이제 프로그램 줄로 DSCO, JSCO, SCO, 라디아 콜릭, 라디 soil department di staff 어쩌가 보도 팀이 거의 인데나 World Soil Day program 몬슨 릭다 좀 department 바툴레 중재다 이 유대신 나오기도 하나 몬스도 인데 비안데 바툴레 department 이나 살람 인데 지도 가서 I request our non-Wokha speaking friend to please bear with me since I'll be speaking in our own dialect. 우리 안에 너무 좀 유다 생활을 기대도 우리 natural farming 지 우리 key points 장지 또 흥미나 예전나 우리 이제 아시는 거라 우리 보통 natural farming도 라스나 지죠 또 민지대나 또 이제 보고도 보내요 우리 인가티오 우리 farming under natural conditions 또 그마 지죠 우리 에드나 따티 리즈장 로나 우리 에드나 펜론 유로이도 치두비 조지 그마 무슨 natural farming도 라스면 너무 싫어 조이 chemical 에서 미가나 올란다로 이 pesticide 올란다로甚至우리 흔즈잖아 우리 펜론 유로이도 조조구나 우리 시에서 natural farming 좀 호지 잘라 어세는 뭐 에나 에 department 나 우리 National Mission on Natural Farming Daily Scheme 자카이 야가나 그마시 scheme 이존 주인이 저거나 그마시 조이 cluster 디로클로 오양다로 자카이게도 야가나 그마 시지 운도 저거나 에 department 나오이 importance 비야 오이 이존 장지 시지 encourage 또 natural farming 시지 encourage 또 오이 시 그지 자카이 야간출라 근데 애들 또 분란 제 나가지고 너무 파이 오이 에제 또 분란 다로 장지 너무 좀 파이데 야간에 이러면 정말 좀 야간 어시리즈 좀 받을려이 저도 이게 마다가나 야간 오이 알람리게도 리종 장지 나오이 chemicals에서 pesticides 올라온다로 무슨 지자오지 야전고 environment 지대 effect 초지대면 오이 에데 저거서 롱바철로이 엘람 오이 effect 초 엘라니 보지자 제고 에모걸 몰란다로 차 엘라니 에데나 반자나 상변는 말이야 노초노로 인콜레드는 지우 분소한 모장바 솔레도 오이 에디키충이 에데다 프리 도나 캔서 돌다나 인콜로드 장전도 에 초보에 오이 모서 나도 사도 완초라 캔서 돌아내는 거 주도 오피아 불러내는 거 고지에 뭐가 넘지 할 일에서 올라온다로 그러면 뭐 상주이 에데나 펜로 유라ትን 오이 모조모노 올라온다로 지자오장 약체는 오이 에데 저거서로 창지 뭐 엘메 페게 소야도 사고도 하나 주소나 a department na no natural farming shi encourage so no shi yi chaka yama na kamen no natural organic farming to har dala nan kamen no organic farming je hai chumbo natural farming je chumbo don je chule la na bothang organic farming ras na ji jo yi chilo je no approved bio pesticides mikana bio fertilizers olanda ro shangju tsa cheda bothang organic farming to ras na kama 또 바초셀이란 보통 내주로 farming 로히야서나 실로전도 무장 바초라 인자제 실로조 오이도 또 naturally available farm 지로도 available resources 나 보장 약체도 오이 변론으로 주거나 그마 주주 부도에 나르도는 뭐 보통 natural farming 지 로히야서는 뭐 오이 farmer 인차나 오이 보통 natural farming scheme 지로도 나서나 엄포나 망스 하이 금시고 또 설레도 뭐 보통 에트나 펜로 뉴라스는 거 언제 난제는 거 리고 장전 거 리즈 장조 이 모장지 마다가 나 이거마 오이 은주이니 오이 펜로 저거 나죠 거 모지 마술래 에텔란야 그마 호지 통전 거 은도 지나 나도 너 보내는 거 제밤으로 배잠으로 들어가는 거 주죠 오이 가우유린 망스 쳐도나 망스 민주장 나스라라 formulations 그마 고장 난스로 호지 뭐 지자다 리게도 오이 지로 모지 테게도 호주거나 지자달라 그마 natural farming로 저희 crop rotation에서 mulching에서 나나 애한테 저도 제사 망스즈 미가나 망스 민주장 난스로장 약간 거 정보 좀 지자 제가 보통 에드나 natural farming도 로지도나 망스지 우리도 소화사일이야 보통 호지 노천으로 청가미가 난도스나 차주로 봐도 소화스나 호지 등 봐줄려 무슨 지자체 그마 호지 등도 저거나 운도 지자울라도 나 호장 봐줄려 이 5,500로 나메가 나 로모스 원도스나 장 본다 무슨 뭐는 승리게도 호장나 오이 달랑고 또하 운도나 이 정보 보고 지자체도 솔레 에다가 보통 라튼 오이 모즈 비아서는 뭐 민주 메가 나오거나 뼈지로 전고 망스지로 전고 chemical 지지스 indirectly 그마 또는 뭐 주로 natural farming 도지 인자체 또소지도나 에다가 보통 natural farming 도라서 내주거나 망스 에코 모지 난당 에주거나 에조이 장 소보 올란다로 또 마케팅나 타마시 주거나 또난 비제 좀 바술라 또 오이 또 내추럴리 메간다 노모스 올란다로 하나 주도 고제사 호장 지자 그래서도 정말 오이 에나 시 프로그램 지는 자가야 등 인도라 natural farming 시즌 뭐 success 소즈거나 저는 뭐 soil gym element important soil health element important 그만 에나 오이 soil health 나 오이 only deficient into nutrient deficient 나미가 단도 남편을 줘서나 호장 저는 뭐 each farmer individual concerned farmer 장으로 이게 지콜라브레이트 하는 거 지코감 지자체 뭐 이게 지콜라브레이트 하는 디파트먼트 넘버 2이 엘리베이터로 뭐 유서 테스트랑 바 엔산 바솔레 엔산셜 리크토시에사 야가나 주고난데 디파트먼트이 바솔라 에 몬초도 덴지도 가고시 오이 에나 실로 natural farming scheme 실로 저도 인도나 BRC도 라는 bioresource input center도 라는 거 지도 하는 거 좀샤 반도가라 그러면 거 지도부도 왜 나라도 내는 거 오이 안에 표다가 되는 거 망스지 예금 저거 나죠 인도사 뭐좀 뭐는 데 안쓰잖아 로초노 야당 차조로 봐도 뭐좀 뭐는 데 안쓰잖아 natural available resources 장나 오이 달랑 저거 나죠 뭐 farmer 인추하지 나죠 에저가로 as对做就这个拿，那种这个那个 bioresource input center 都来那个种这个 select 做，咁嘛好就做一种那 agriculture background 那个那为 graduate 知道，咁嘛对 expert 的啥都，咁嘛那个那为忙时间一个米开多，忙时间一个米开多，那个好就那为formulations 就那高 urine 高当能生肉 formulations 上去为 farmers 上去那 supply 做。咁好似啥都係難就做嘅嚟啦，嚟呢個 community resource person 都啦都只係我按照大家都 cluster 住咯，我樣到咯，咁cluster 冇仲係咯community resource person 都係冇用這個係策略催發到啦，最終我我樣冇用都用這個唔錯，咁樣我好似日前我那 department 都那 expert 嘅啦，呢個都我啲 farmers 長，我啲人啲 farmers 長都一定點知我日家做咁오늘 나이 무갈라 몰란다로 리우장에 너무 어이 홍보 약체 너무 애zo 엘란디 그도 에남바 술야 유다도 플랫폼스란 자이 에조나 트레이닝 밤비치다 사이ля 어이 홍보 자이 그도 트레이닝보다 올라다로 빌리주스 넘보 비고마 홍보로 이 farmers 장 어이 제사 홍보야니 farmers 장 어이 비도사 어이 힐란장지 호주고나 초다야 바나 그마도 아유 흠리나도 내추럴 파밍지 저 호도지 바도지 대신야라 문서
에르몬 소가 아유 에르몬에 앵아테는 내가 또 앵아테도 좀 따로 보더라 혹시 내추럴 파밍이로 뭐나 좋아해서도 뭐를 되어 뭐지나 보도 트래디셔널 파밍 저희가 뭐지 베이싱 on that 어디 하고 지나 저희 every initiative 교로 뭔가 내 디파트먼트 나서 에르몬 소도 이디아로 one of things I work stream 어디 what is in the NTable
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good morning, all staff. On behalf of the organizers, I extend my utmost gratitude to all to make this event a success. My sincere thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Wokha, for praising the program of World Soil Day on the theme Healthy Soils for Healthy Cities, with valuable insights to the theme speaker, our Ma'am DSCO, Ma'am Elizabeth, for the wonderful contribution about the importance of soil and the ways of conserving the soil, and to our program committee for their immaculate execution of this program. And a big thank you to the staff of the Department of Soil and Water Conservation for your time and support. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.
Number 60, handing over of soil health card under natural farming to Agri Department. Enjoy istiyorlar pandi kopialo tuli kopialo. Hije. Ojo sna foto kidalo sansi. Kambenyo wa. Ya to pia ide kiri. Kuma enjoy kadalo.
No. 기지개 틀리.
좀 같이. 저 extra 뭐 我把那点都不能 single 列，都列卡了吧？
예.
Number 7 ro. Benediction di miss mo nangin na may sinam.
Chamber Swashi Salon Tumon Biashi Sanatagido, Program Janjin Zango and Lanso open a taxi to the Monsoni Biaka, and no she saw the boats a year, or Chang without an apple, so she saw the humor which Hodina, Elium Hydrogen Jelation of Dada, Epon the Doctor's Nation she took on a Monsoni, Inanto Hydros Nahajan, Erin Bin and Lanso open a Otosom home high, Elilangulan and the Toby and Lanso Channel and a she saw the Nomen of Pendelka names and Nim Hydrogen, Pendated of Seria, a town of Jelation Bitsula, she saw on it's a gap of Otosom Honey, Tuman Jelation Church and the cultural thing, Lanso Channel and Natural, and the machine she told the new Bummering days to Bajisom around the National.
Well, like refreshment of Kendra, Tanraisida, Pa, Katabane.
남자는 가르치
Nana Garigi, GPS camera này khá là